Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the FPE. I'm your coach, Radioactive Mayo. It's been a couple weeks since I uploaded here on the channel, so a few updates on things regarding the FPE. So last time, it was week 10, and I wasn't sure on the status of with whether or not we were making playoffs. Um, Turns out we are making playoffs. What ended up happening was we decided to cut the season off at 10 weeks, even though we originally planned on playing 12 weeks. There was just a lot of things started coming up in people's lives, and people just weren't able to battle the last 2 weeks of the season. So we cut the season at 10 weeks and set up playoffs. That's why it's been a few weeks. Since continuing, but now we're back, and your Connecticut Corviknights are in the playoffs, and this is going to be round one of the playoffs, aka the quarterfinals, and we're going to be up against the Brisbane Banettes here in the playoffs. Now, if you remember, we actually lost to the Brisbane Banettes back in week 2 of the season, at the very start of the season, and so we're going to be rematching now, this time in playoffs. So it's very interesting every time you play a team twice in like a Pokemon Draft League, because you already know the matchup pretty well, and both of your opponents like have an idea of like what you want to bring and what's good versus the team. So both of our teams are the same. We didn't make any like free agency transactions or anything. So, he's got Mega Sharpedo, Tapu Bulu, Heatran, Dracozolt, Slowking, Umbreon, Bronzong, Noivern, Comfey, Purugly, and Volbeat. So, same team that we faced back in week 2. If you recall what happened in week 2, we lost at the very end 1-0 to a tough 1v1 between Tapu Bulu and our Porygon 2. Honestly, that was a game that I think I could have easily won, and I think I misplayed poorly around my opponent's Heatran, and if I hadn't have made some mistakes, I think I definitely should have won that game. And I do think we have a good matchup against this team. So, yeah, I went back and I studied week 2, got back into my thought process versus this team. So, yeah, let's look at what we're gonna bring here in the first round of the playoffs in our rematch versus the Brisbane Banettes. All right, so starting it off here, we're bringing actually a very similar team to the team that we brought back in week 2, with only some slight changes to a couple of sets from week 2, but we're actually bringing the same 6 Pokemon that we brought to our week 2 matchup versus this team. Starting off with Centiskorch. So I knew I wanted Centiskorch again. I basically went through and studied the matchup again. I decided whether or not I wanted to keep the same 6 Pokemon, and after thinking about it, I decided I'm just going to bring the same 6 Pokemon again, but I did tweak some of the sets up a little bit. So this right here is actually the same exact Centiskorch set that we brought back in week 2. I didn't change it at all. I still think this thing is really good for the matchup and breaking through his defensive core, all of his bulky Pokemon, basically his psychic types like Bronzong and Slowking don't want to take a Leech Life or a Fire Lash. Also, Tapu Bulu doesn't want to take a Fire Lash. So yeah, just like breaking through all of his bulky stuff. This thing also is a really good answer to the Comfey, which was giving us a little bit of problems when we faced back in week 2. So yeah, same set basically. It's just going to struggle a little bit against Heatran, but we have other answers for Heatran. So next up, we're bringing Weezing. And very similar Weezing to what we brought last time as well. We're bringing physically defensive Weezing. This is a great answer to the Tapu Bulu, also the Dracozolt, and even the Mega Sharpedo. So With max HP, max defense, we can take a hit from any one of those things. Sludge Bomb is going to knock out Tapu Bulu every time, and Strange Steam is going to hit both Dracozolt and Mega Sharpedo for super effective damage and nearly take them out. And we're bringing the Toxic Spikes again, just like we did last time. Toxic Spikes are really good versus this team. The only things immune to Toxic Spikes are the Bronzong, the Noivern, and the Heatran. Everything else is going to get poisoned upon switching, and it's going to negate the passive grassy terrain recovery set up by the Tapu Bulu. The only difference is this time we're running the Neutralizing Gas ability, which we didn't have last time. Last time we had Misty Surge. I'm opting for Neutralizing Gas this time. First of all, I realized that the interaction between Misty Surge and Toxic Spikes is not in my favor, so when Misty Surge is active, Toxic Spikes don't actually work, which I didn't even realize last time. It didn't actually come into play last time, but yeah, I want to take full advantage of Toxic Spikes, so I'm not bringing the Misty Surge, but I am bringing the Neutralizing Gas. It's just going to neutralize all of his abilities, so this could be nice. It means Sharpedo can't speed boost. It means Dracozolt won't have Hustle, so it'll do less damage. It means Tapu Bulu is not going to set up Grassy Terrain upon switching. It also means stuff like Slowking isn't going to regenerate health upon switching. So stuff like that. And yeah, Neutralizing Gas should be good here. But Defensive Wheezing just works really well in this matchup, just being able to wall all of the physical offense on his team. Next up, we got Crocodile. Once again, this is the exact same Crocodile we're running back in week 2. I changed nothing about this set. It is exactly the same. Stomping Tantrum, Close Combat, Knockoff, and Sludge Bomb hit nearly his entire team for super effective damage, minus only the Noivern. Everything else on his team is going to get hit for super effective damage. That's why we've got the Expert Belt to boost the attacks that are super effective by 1.2 times. Stomping Tantrum over Earthquake because it does more damage in grassy terrain over Earthquake, and an Expert Belt boosted Stomping Tantrum takes out Dracozolt, which is really good, and it always takes out Heatran. Close Combat for Umbreon, Knockoff for everything else, and Sludge Bomb is going to do over 50% to even especially defensive Tapu Bulu, even though we have pitiful special attack because of its 4 times weakness. So I really like Crocodile here. Just its coverage is really, really good versus this team, and if we play it well, it's going to do a lot of damage. With the speed investment here, we have enough speed to outspeed a max speed Heatran. So we're going to outspeed Heatran, we're going to outspeed Tapu Bulu, we're going to outspeed Dracozolt, barring no Choice Scarfs. Last time he did bring a Choice Scarf Tapu Bulu, so we have to keep that in mind, that something like Tapu Bulu could be Choice Scarfed. Also something like Heatran could be Choice Scarfed. But we'll have to see. Either way, I really like Crocodile's matchup here, just being able to kill like a lot of things on his team. Next up, we have the Porygon 2. Now, you already know why Porygon 2 is here. Porygon 2 is back for revenge. Some of you are maybe aware that Porygon 2 has not come to any of our winning games this season. In fact, every time that I've brought Porygon 2 is every time that we've lost. Now, I'm going to change that this time because Porygon 2 needs revenge on the Tapu Bulu for what happened last time. And Porygon 2 actually has a good matchup versus this team, and let me explain why. So this set is slightly different from what I brought back in week 2, only in terms of the EVs. I brought a little bit more defense EVs last time, or this time, sorry. Last time we were mostly specially defensive. It was like something like this, I don't know. But we're bringing like, what are we bringing? We're bringing 140 in defense this time, 120 in special defense. We're just putting more into defense this time. So yeah, it'll help us versus the Tapu Bulu. That's my way of compensating for the Tapu Bulu 1v1, is just putting a little bit more defense into Porygon 2 and taking a little bit out of special defense. But we're running the same 4 moves: Thunderbolt, Ice Beam, Recover, and Teleport. I still think these moves are great. Ice Beam will take out Noivern every time, so this thing is my primary answer to the Noivern. Also hits Tapu Bulu for big damage. Dracozolt for big damage. Thunderbolt can take out Mega Sharpedo. With the added defense EVs, we'll be able to better take a hit from Mega Sharpedo, so that's good. Yeah, that's more or less that. And then just Recover and Teleport is great. We've got the Trace ability once again to be able to copy abilities, so that's really good. Last time we traced Comfey's Triad, which gave us Priority Recover, which was actually really good, so we might do something similar this time. But I like Porygon 2 in this matchup, mainly for it's a good answer to Noivern. It's my primary answer to Noivern. That's what I mostly want it for. But it's also good for switching in and taking big hits from like any of his attackers, really, because he has no fighting type on his team, so he can't hit like Porygon 2 for super effective damage, and like nothing on his team can like OHKO Porygon 2, so like Porygon 2 can take hits from basically everything on his team comfortably, and just like teleport around, heal up, and like Thunderbolt plus Ice Beam is good coverage for most things. So that's really good. Next up, we have the Lawnmower. You already know we gotta bring the Lawnmower back out here. So, we want to mow the lawn this time because this is almost the same set that we brought back in week 2. We have the same 4 moves. Yeah, except this time we're just throwing a little bit more in defense. We want to be able to take hits from stuff like Dracozolt. This is our primary answer to the Dracozolt. Even though he didn't bring Dracozolt last time, he could. And this is also a great answer to the Tapu Bulu. We've got enough speed investment to outspeed Max Speed Heatran once again, so we'll be able to outspeed both the Dracozolt and the Tapu Bulu and hit them with the Will-O-Wisp, which is really good for dealing with both of those things. And yeah, Pain Split to stay healthy. Volt Switch, he has no ground type either, so Volt Switch is very free. I can Volt Switch around his team pretty freely, which is really good for pivoting around the defensive core. So yeah, I like the Lawnmower here a lot. I think it'll definitely come in handy. Now, last but certainly not least, we're bringing Gyarados. Gyarados is the only Pokemon where I am switching up some of its moves from week 2. Everything else that I've brought so far, I'm bringing the exact same 4 moves that I brought back in week 2. I don't want to change things up too much. I really liked the team that I brought back in week 2, and I think I could have won with it had I not misplayed. But we are going to switch up Gyarados here a little bit. We'll bring an Iron Head instead of Bounce. Mainly because, even though Bounce does more damage to the Tapu Bulu, Bounce is a 2-turn move. So what happened last time was Tapu Bulu was able to set up a Bulk Up on the first turn of Bounce, and it took it a lot better than it would have normally without the Bulk Up. Whereas if we can just Iron Head it, it'll do about the same damage as a Bounce after a Bulk Up, if that makes sense. So I opted for Iron Head over Bounce, just to be able to hit Tapu Bulu in 1 turn for super effective damage, even though it's technically less damage than Bounce, but Bounce takes 2 turns. Also, Iron Head will hit the Comfey super effectively. I am expecting Comfey again because he did bring it last time, and it has a good matchup versus my team, specifically Como-O. And Iron Head will do big damage to the Comfey, which is really nice. Comfey cannot hit us for very much. So yeah, we're bringing Dragon Dance again. Crunch Earthquake is just good for most other stuff on his team, really. Earthquake takes out Heatran, hits Dracozolt, even under grassy terrain, he'll do a lot of damage. And then Crunch is great for his psychic types like Slowking and Bronzong, stuff like that. The only thing that can really deal with this well is Umbreon, but he didn't bring Umbreon last time, so we'll have to see the opts to bring Umbreon this time. We're switching up the item and the ability, so last time we had leftovers to stay healthy, but I want to do more damage with Gyarados, so I'm opting for the Expert Belt. So we've got 2 Expert Belt users here in Crocodile and Gyarados. Expert Belt is going to boost my super effective attacks, so that's just going to secure me the damage that I need, especially with the Iron Head on Tapu Bulu and Comfey. Give me the kill on Heatran, even in grassy terrain. do more damage to Dracozolt, stuff like that. We've got the speed investment to, once again, hit the 279, which is the benchmark to outspeed the max speed Heatran. So we'll outspeed all stuff like Tapu Bulu and Dracozolt. The only stuff faster than that on his team is Purugly and Noivern. He did bring Purugly last time. He brought Purugly because it has Defiant, and it was looking to take advantage of my 2 Intimidate users. We are still bringing Intimidate on Crocodile because I think it's useful, but we're actually bringing Moxie on Gyarados this time because if I can get a kill with Gyarados, I can get attack boosts, and it could be really difficult for him to deal with, especially after a Dragon Dance, because after a Dragon Dance, we will be faster than even a Choice Scarfed Tapu Bulu, even a Choice Scarfed Dracozolt, even a Choice Scarfed Heatran. So basically, everything on his team will be faster than after a Dragon Dance, unless you bring something weird like Choice Scarf Noivern, but that seems very unlikely. So yeah, I think Gyarados is looking like a win condition in this game. We're opting for more damage with this build, and more sweeping potential with the Moxie and the Expert Belt with Iron Head. So yeah, late game we could try to set up a Dragon Dance and potentially clean up his team. But yeah, for the most part, we're bringing almost the exact same team that we brought back in week 2 for this rematch. Either way, I think we have a good matchup here. I'm interested to see if he switches up his team at all. Let's see, last time he brought Mega Sharpedo, he brought Tapu Bulu, he brought Heatran, Noivern, Comfey, and Purugly. So those were his 6 last time. We didn't see any Dracozolt last time, we didn't see any Umbreon last time, we didn't see any Slowking or Bronzong last time. I'm interested to see if he switches it up at all. There's always a chance that he just brings the exact same team. I'm basically bringing the exact same team, but I just tweaked a couple sets. So yeah, that's basically that. It's playoff time. So I'm taking this one seriously. That's why I'm drinking so much water, because I'm nervous. But I think the matchup is in our favor. I've got a good, headspace going in. I know the mistakes that I made last time that made me lose back in week 2, and I'm not going to make them again this time. So I'm confident that I can come out with a win in this first playoff match. So that's about that. So yeah, thanks for watching this video. Go over now and check out our round 1 playoff match versus the Brisbane Banettes in the FPE. I'll catch y'all later. Peace.